I don't believe men were created to be pawns in someone else's game. I believe we were created to be steward kings. Men under authority, yes, but entrusted with real responsibility. Not perfect men, but disciplined ones. Men who rule themselves, serve God directly, and refuse to live in fear. This is king, not pawn. Most men can feel it, even if they can't fully explain it. Shorter attention spans, weaker discipline, more distraction, more temptation, confusion. It's been harder to focus, harder to pray, harder to sit still, sometimes even harder to think clearly. And most men assume that it's just stress or modern life, right? But something deeper is happening, as I found, and that's that you're being formed. There's this invisible influence out there. You wake up, you check your phone, and within seconds, content is in front of you, chosen for you, not randomly, but precisely, based on exactly what holds your attention and what keeps you engaged, what keeps you scrolling. And over time, that system learns you almost better than you even know yourself. And here's the thing, the feed, it knows you. You watch one video, then you watch another and another, and soon your entire feed is filled with things you desire, things that you fear, things that provoke you, things that keep you hooked. It feels like a coincidence, but it's not. Let me tell you, it's not. It's calibration. And this is not neutral, okay? Technology itself is not necessarily evil, but systems built around attention are not neutral. They are designed to shape behavior, to hold your focus, to influence your decisions, and to keep you engaged as long as possible. And what holds attention most effectively? I would say it's the works of the flesh. We see this just digitally amplified in our world today. Think about what performs best online. This is going to be lust, anger, envy, division, pride. Exactly what scripture warned us about. Content that provokes desire, triggers outrage. It fuels comparison and it reinforces identity battles. And above all else, it elevates ego. Why? Well, it's because these emotions are strong, and strong emotions keep you engaged. Scripture, it already kind of described this pattern. You see, Galatians 5, it outlines the works of the flesh. And when you look at modern media consumption, you see this same pattern playing out at scale. It's not random, okay? It's systematic. The flesh is not just present, okay? It is being amplified in ways that we've never seen before. And this is what I would argue to be sorcery in modern form. And this is where we do need to be precise, because the Bible uses the word sorcery in Galatians 5. The Greek word is pharmakeia. It refers to this altering of the mind, influencing perception, shaping behavior through external means. In ancient times, it would have looked like, potions and rituals. Today, it looks like something else: constant stimulation, algorithmic reinforcement, behavioral manipulation. It's not mystical per se, but it's still powerful. And, it's not like you don't wake up one day and become different. Okay, this is something that happens gradually. You consume certain content, your desires shift, your tolerance changes, your reactions become quicker, your patience starts to become shorter, your focus weakens, and honestly, you don't even notice that it's happening because it feels normal. But here's why this weakens men, okay? Because a man constantly fed stimulation becomes distracted, reactive, emotionally driven, mentally scattered. And a scattered man, he cannot build, he cannot lead, he can't even hear God clearly, if I'm being honest, because his mind is always occupied. It's always reacting to something, it's always consuming something. The system that we live in today, it benefits from your weakness. And I want you to hear that, and I want that to strike you. I want you to know that you can change it. Because here's the uncomfortable truth: an undisciplined man is profitable. They are literally making money off of you, and that should make you angry, okay? The more distracted you are, and real quick, I just want to, quick pause. Righteous anger. You have every right to be angry with something like that once you know it. okay? Because when they're trying to profit off of that and it's not biblically aligned, that's not good. You have full justification to be righteously angry at a system like that. Because the more distracted you are, the more you consume. The more emotional you are, the more you engage. The more you engage, the more the system grows, which means there's no incentive to make you disciplined or focused or spiritually grounded. And here's what I want to tell you, okay? Despite everything that the media would try to push on you today, despite all this downward comforting that we're seeing on social media, you are not powerless. Okay, now this is important because this is not about fear, it is about awareness. Because you must become intentional. Because if you don't choose what forms you, something else will. And there's a moment that, as men, we realize this, okay? This is shaping me, not dramatically, but quietly. And I'm just going to make this more personal now because, I've noticed my thoughts before, I've noticed my habits, my reactions. And instead of continuing unconsciously, I really did begin to wake up and start to question it. And that moment was the beginning of my personal change. And I hope it is for you too, because this is what leads to returning to alignment. The answer, it's not to just totally run away from technology completely. I mean, you could, and if you can live that kind of life, somehow, I applaud you, but you don't have to run from it, okay? Think of it as a reordering of your life. Just less noise, less consumption, more discipline, less reacting to the politics of today, more intention with the time that you have with those around you, more time in scripture, more time in prayer. That's been huge for me recently. More time building something real because the Spirit forms men through alignment, not stimulation. And there's this battle going on for your attention because your attention's not small, it's not trivial, okay? It determines what shapes you. What you focus on becomes what you desire, and what you desire becomes what you pursue. And this is where you guys, and hear me when I say, you got to really guard your attention because that is what spiritual warfare is. You need to constantly be on guard. Wake up. This is the call, guys. Wake up. Not in a panic, just in clarity. Recognize what's shaping you. Recognize what's influencing you. Try and deeply look at what's pulling you away from God and make a decision here. Because you are not created to be endlessly distracted. You are not created to be emotionally manipulated. You are not created to be shaped by these systems that profit from your weakness. You are created to be a steward, to rule yourself, to walk with God clearly. Okay? So wake up spiritually, take back your attention, reorder your life, and return to alignment with God, because the man who guards his mind and disciplines his attention cannot be easily controlled. And that is where real freedom begins.